Hello beautifuls, welcome back to my Chanel
Satan.
So if you don't know anything about me, you should know that I am very into my witchy, magical fantasy stories. And when I heard a few years ago that Sabrina the Teenage Witch was coming back as the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I was absolutely astounded and could not wait for the Netflix series to start. And I must say that on the whole, I actually really enjoyed the entire show. Although I must say, I'm a little bit disappointed that they have ended now. A little bit sad about that, really, because I would love to have seen Sabrina carry on into lots of other different adventures throughout her entire life. The storytelling was quite good, although I must say that aside from what we're going to talk about today in this video, I want to just have a little moment. I'm not going to give any spoilers. I really loved it, but I do feel like the storyline and the writing got a little bit confused as to what audience they were writing these storylines for. Is this a horrific gore-fest riddled show for adults, or is this for angsty 14 to 16-year-olds? I don't think the show quite knew the direction it was going in, and that's why it was axed, sadly. And it brings me great sadness to say that although I really enjoyed the entire aesthetic of the show, the entire storyline, the premises, everything, I have a huge problem with the makeup artistry, sis. Today we're going to be talking about the chilling adventures of the wrong undertone. Because I don't believe that the makeup artist on this set, or the makeup artist team on this set, were the best choice for this fantasy setting, shall we say. Now, I just want to preface this video by saying I'm not attacking the makeup artists that are featured in this video. In fact, I'm not even going to name them because I don't want anybody to get their feathers all ruffled. Oh, ruffle these feathers. Business time, Luxeria. Because I truly feel like there are some levels of makeup artistry that fit very well. For example, if you are going to be doing normal ladies' TV and movie makeup, the chances are the makeup artist that was picked for this role would have been picked pretty well. Sadly, for a fantasy show that involves harsh dramatic lighting and for sets that require a little bit of Satan, shall we say, I think the makeup artist and the makeup artistry for the entire 4 seasons was not picked very well. And today we're going to analyse why that might be. Follow me. So firstly, I want to go onto my little telephone here and have a little look at these pictures. So first of all, we're going to start with quite possibly the absolute worst one that I have ever seen. So this picture was submitted to the subreddit Bad MUAs. Now, I have a series on my channel which follows bad makeup artistry, and I truly believe that this is a prime example of bad makeup artistry. What is this? What is this? What is this? So this character here is meant to be a hobgoblin, a forest-dwelling mysterious creature that sort of stumbles into Sabrina's life via her friend Theo, and a love triangle ensues, so we say. What are you doing? This woman is clearly not of a peachy orange undertone. If we look at her neck, you can quite clearly see that this girl has fair skin that is of a pink hue. It's kind of a bit difficult to say in this this like haphazard screen picture, like picture of a TV screen, but you can clearly say that the undertones in this image are completely incorrect. I don't even know where we can go with this one, sis. I mean, you can literally see right here just how wrong this is. Like, I don't know who gave the green light for this, but I would have looked at this makeup artistry and gone,
Excuse me, sir, madam, ladies or gentlemen.
That is not correct.
I need you to readdress the situation before we can continue shooting. Thank you. If I was lead project designer for the makeup artistry, or for costume, or I don't even know, anyone with eyeballs on set, I would have said that this is incorrect. Very incorrect. Now, the way that you want to pick an undertone to match an actress or an actor on set, shall we say, is to do a 3-stroke rule. So let's just say you have your makeup artistry kit. She's here, she's living, she's thriving, she's positively bustling with all different foundations of all different undertones. You take 3 foundations that you think are the closest. You do 3 swipes across the jaw. Which one matches the best? If none of them match, try another 3. And keep going until you have something that matches both the jaw and the neck. Because it is so important for telling a good story to not throw people wildly out of it by having bad makeup. Like, no story has ever been told with bad makeup.
Unless it's a story about bad makeup.
Like, just because this character is meant to be like a hobgoblin forest-dwelling wench does not mean that she lives with orange on her face. I don't think. Aside from that, I do actually think that the eyebrow as well could use a little bit of work. I absolutely despise a solid front of an eyebrow. I don't think it looks flattering on anyone. Anyone, sis, stop doing it. If I was a makeup artist in this position and I was doing this eyebrow on people and I was immediately looking at photos or video or checking out any sort of like production worth quality imagery that I've gotten back for my time, I would be like, oh, those eyebrows don't look right. That's not correct. And I don't think that saying,
oh, she's just a really gothy person from the forest,
really makes any sense here, because you can be a beautiful, gothy, grungy creature and not have a block eyebrow, sis. The next image comes from, well, should we just say Battle of the Hobgoblins, sis? Because this character here, actually his name escapes me. What is his name? Ah, yes, his name is Robin. That's correct. Now, I also, same exact problem, sis. Now, I also have a problem with the finish of the skin in every single one of these pictures, and you'll see as we progress through these pictures that I have curated for us today, because I don't have a team, sis, you will notice that they also look incredibly oily. All of the skin tones and all of the skin types just look really greasy and sweaty. If you're going to do makeup artistry for something, make sure it's matte. Make sure it always starts out matte, because matte looks the best on film. If you have to have a dewy skin-like finish, do all of your foundation matte. All of the foundation matte on anyone you're doing it on, and then finish it with a dewy setting spray. That will give it the most lifelike appearance and not look oily at all. Dewy foundations and dewy cream-based foundations like the ones you find in RCMA or Mayron cream sticks or Celebre HD do not look 100% authentic as a skin type, because nobody has skin this reflective of this tone. The only time in which this might not be the case is for ultra deep skin tones that have that beautiful reflective quality. That's when this technique might not be quite so good. So if you look at his neck, you can quite clearly see that this actor is of a neutral to yellow base undertone of the skin, so something that's a little bit olivey. Now, what they've done incorrectly is it looks like they've gone in with one of those RCMA palettes for olive tones and just selected something in the middle and not given any lightness or depth at all to the skin. Just gone over it and hoping for the best. I must say that it is your job as a makeup artist, if you are working on set of a series or a movie or something that's going to take a long time to film and has got to be perfect and has got quite a budget, sis. Let's talk about the budget. You have to understand the surroundings in which it's going to be filmed in. What temperature are they filming the film in? And I don't mean like,
is it 25 degrees Celsius?
I mean like, is it 5600K they're shooting with lights? Are they doing something atmospheric with really bright orange lighting? Are they shooting it in particularly cold sunlight, such as 6500K? You need to know this as a makeup artist, because it's going to change what you are using on the skin in order to make the skin look as lifelike without really taking away anything that you would think, oh my goodness, what a corpse they look like, without using any special effects, of course. You need to understand what it is that your client is asking for. You need to be able to pull things down the neck and blend it out. If you're worried about lines of demarcation, powder everything with a lighter powder over the top of your foundation to really buff in those edges, and then finish with a setting spray, and you will have a perfect diffusion of skin tones and not a demarcation line. I remember watching this scene back and being like, I am just taken out. I'm just taken out of the immersion here, because it's just like, imagine if you're a video editor. Let's just say you're watching a 4K presentation and you start to just see pixelation on one side of the screen. It would take you out of the immersion, wouldn't it? As a video editor, because you would pick up on these things and go, personally, my Premiere Pro skills would not have done that there, sis. And that's how I feel when I'm watching this story, because it kind of takes me out of it. And I know I'm being a little bit critical, but I just want people to do better. Mummy wants you to do better. Can you imagine? Awful. Oh, stop it. Very naughty. These next two pictures are prime examples of, shall I just say, not using cream products to their best ability, shall we say. So, here we have the character Nick. Now, if you have seen season 4, you know which scene this is from. This is from the very questionable scene that is at the end of the season, that makes absolutely no sense as to why the Queen of Hell herself would go there. So, you know. You can quite clearly see that this actor, the actor that plays Nick, is quite, I would say he is olive-toned. He is olive-toned in skin, but quite clearly you can see he's having pink skin issues that are really being brought out by the lighting that's been used in this area. So this scene is very, very well lit with, like, really balanced white light. So it's almost daylight, but it's not, like, hugely cold, and it's not hugely warm. So it's pulling out all of the skin tones that you would like to balance, let's just say, with colour correction. The answer here is to not just put bright yellow on the ear, and bright yellow around the mouth, and bright yellow around the nose, and then bright yellow between the eyebrows. That's not what you do. I don't know who told you that's what you do, but that's not how you colour correct this. That's not it. I would immediately colour correct. The idea to balance these red tones and these pink tones would be to put a yellow or green base on the skin, and you would diffuse this softly. You could even create a really minimal version of a colour corrector by just using a really good quality moisturiser and also putting colour correcting fluid in that moisturiser and then applying a thin base over the entire face and then just touch up where you need that little bit of extra coverage with extra colour corrector. Then I would set all of the face with a skin tone powder, a really light loose powder in a matching skin tone, and then finish off with a dewy finish mist. That would create the most illustriously beautiful skin finish that would be believable and would not look like you have bright yellow on your ears. So now we move on to Kiernan Shipka, who is actually the main actress in this entire series, who plays Sabrina, Sabrina Spellman, the witch, and also the Queen of Hell Girl. Let's just put this picture up here so we know exactly what she looks like. She has beautiful features. She's got really dainty little features and quite really big, slightly downturned eyes for that really doe eye look. Overall, if you were to look at her face, you would say that she has sort of an innocence about her, an innocence quality, which I must admit will make it a little bit difficult to turn her into this like ferocious hell demon seductress that she's meant to end up portraying. The actress might not necessarily fit that role 100%, so the makeup artist's job is to make that realization truly believable. Truly believable. I want to show you the first picture that I came across. I think this was in season 1, and it just makes me go, what? What are you doing? Makeup artists, please. I'm sorry, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Why? Why? Delilah? It looks like she's put her face in dirty bathwater. I'm sorry, that's just the tea, sis. In fact, she might have even put the tea on her face. So, what we are doing here is completely wrong. Let's start again. Take all of this off, start again. What we need to do is shade match her neck down here, because quite clearly, I can see from her neck that she has very fair, neutral skin. She's got maybe a slight olivey tone to it. I can't tell though if it might just be a cast from this picture. I have a feeling that she might even be slightly on the rosy tones, slightly on the pink-based undertones. But you can definitely see that the foundation that she's currently got on is incorrect, sis. Absolutely incorrect. Another thing that we're also going to talk about is that I know for a fact this is a cream-based foundation because I can tell from all of the texture this has given her face and her skin. It is not really appropriate to film in 4K or even in high-quality 1080p if you're going to be using this sort of cream-based makeup that does not look believable. It looks like her face is unbelievably oily. If we go back to this picture that I just showed here, this one, her skin isn't oily. She's got a lovely glow about it, and we need to work with that. Do you want to hear my techniques, how I would have done this? Estee Lauder Double Wear. I would have started with Estee Lauder Double Wear and done a little bit of concealer just under here. I would have blurred that out over the whole face, and then I would have set it with a light powder. I probably would have gone for 1C0 Shell, or maybe even 1W1, depending on just how warm her skin actually is, because it's difficult to tell from a photo. After that, after setting the entire skin, I would have gone over with a skin mist. I would have gone over with a wonderful dewy skin mist, maybe something like Magic Radiance by MAC, or maybe something like the Dewy Skin Finish by Urban Decay, the Dewy All-Nighter, simply because that would have given the skin just that little bit of life through glow without it actually looking overpoweredly greasy. It looks greasy and I'm not into it. And the one thing that I don't like about cream foundations is the technology is a little bit outdated now. I know that even if you're doing like hair and beauty school, like they'll always tell you cream foundations are what's used on television and what's used on film. It's outdated, sis. It was maybe okay for like 480p back in like 2003 to 2005, maybe even earlier in cinematic history, but now we live in a 4K world. We live in a 4K, 1080p, 60 frames per second. I can see every single one of your pores, and we need to balance our makeup techniques with that. So you need to work with modern products. I personally do really love liquid foundations for these sorts of things because they are the ones that you can really work them into the skin and look looks so believable. You don't even have to go for something as full coverage as double wear. I personally love a bit of double wear because it looks so matte and clean and fresh. And if you're wanting to go for something quite innocent looking, the matte clean freshness is perfect. And then of course you can overload the cheeks with a little bit of blush just to make sure that you still look innocent without looking overly contoured. You could even use something like Face and Body by MAC if you wanted to go for something really lightweight and light coverage, but you must powder it and finish it with a setting spray with a little bit of shine in it in order to keep that skin finish. Another problem that I have with the way that they did Kiernan Shipka's makeup, in fact, we're going to cover it in a little bit because I've gone a little bit overboard for this one, sis, because I just don't understand what anyone was thinking. I don't understand where the vision was going, why it was going that way, and why no one said, should we not do that? Let's not do that. No, let's not. All right, so let's go back to this picture. So you can see Kiernan Shipka's lovely lip shape here, can't you? She's got dainty little lips that are actually quite a lovely little size. They've got a wonderful little bit of definition on the outside. The vermilion border is very strong. If you want these lips to look bigger, do not overline them at the outside because it will look like she's been sucking on a tomato-riddled tube. And we don't want that, no, do we? No, because it takes us what? Out of the fantasy. Let me hear you. Out of the fantasy, Netflix. Out of the fantasy. I wish I could get hired for some of these things. I am available for makeup consultancy. I am, sis. Yes. So here we go. Let's have a little look at this. So this picture is from season 4 of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Can you tell me why someone did this to her lips? Why have they done this to her lips? Why have they done this? If you look at the size of the outside of the lips, how weird does it look? Like, I can see where her lip ends, and it literally looks like they've just smudged her lipstick out and around. And you can't tell me that it is for stylistic choice, because everything else on the face is perfectly coiffed where it's meant to be, except the lips. I don't believe that this is an appropriate way to do lips and to make them look beautiful. If you're going to do bold colours on the lip, my goodness, as a makeup artist, the first thing you have to learn to do is get a steady hand and to understand different lip shapes. Kiernan Shipka's lip shape, should we go through it? Should we go through it? Lovely. As you can see, her lip kind of goes in slightly at the outside, so you get this curve that goes up towards the Cupid's bow, and her bottom lip is well rounded. It's not full on the outer side, but it's full in the center. If you want these lips to look big and eye-catching, you need to play with her features. You need to work with her features because her face is so small, she can't really take a lot of makeup. She's got beautiful features, but not a lot of space to do like really wild, ultra creative things, which makes it difficult to kind of fill in this like risque, over the top, hell, Satan queen. Do you know what I mean? Whereas she can easily play a 16-year-old quite innocently, I believe, because her features lend herself to that. I want to show you this picture here because this picture is a great example of makeup artistry that goes really, really well and works with her skin tone and her skin type and her face shape. You can see that the makeup artist has just put a light wash of colour on her lips. That's probably the best idea in this sort of a situation, but to also go over the top with her eyes. I wanted to see more of this. More of this is much more believable to me than this picture. It's just not believable. Look how weird and like sweaty and like very swab. So I realise I've been talking quite a big game in terms of my makeup skill in this video, but I would really love to just show you what I would have done if I was a key makeup artist on set, or Kiernan Shipka's makeup artist, for the specifically over-the-top hell pieces, shall we say. So we just looked at her there with like red lipstick on. It was a bit out of the weirdness. I didn't quite like it. I love the idea of putting red lipstick on her, but I'm going to show you what I would have done in order to really create this ultimately ferocious, over-the-top, fierce look that I believe that was necessary for the role in order for me to really fall in love with the characters. You can take all of this with a grain of salt, and I've done all of this in Photoshop, so it won't exactly translate on the photos exactly how I would do it in real life, but I just thought I would show off a little bit of my skill here because it's very easy to tear people down. It's not easy to create a good, well-formed argument and show what you would have done instead. Here is a base picture of Kiernan Shipka that I am going from. I don't know when this photo was taken, and I don't know who did the makeup for it, but she looks absolutely stunning. As you can see, earlier as I mentioned, her eyes are very wide in the middle and slightly downturned at the outside, leading to this like doe-eyed, quite doll-like effect. You can see that her lip shape is absolutely wonderful. If you want to draw attention to it and make it edgy and dark, I would have done this. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this picture here and why I have chosen the things to do and why I have chosen the things that I have in order to really recreate this look and make her a lot more like gothic, edgy, much more Queen of Hell, and for everything to work with her features and her face shapes. So I've given her an eye wing. As you can see, well, if you know me, you'll know I'll give everyone an eye wing. I love an eye wing. I feel like it gives that femme fatale. I'm very seductful, but also I could cut you with my spells if I needed to. Now, Kiernan Shipka has wonderfully golden eyes. She's got this kind of like hazel with a little bit of yellow in. So I do believe that putting too much black next to her eye will shrink it. She doesn't have a huge amount of space between her eye and her brow, which is perfect. You do not need a lot of space to have really good, well-placed eyeshadow. I would have worked into the lower waterline a really deep, almost black onto the waterline itself, and then buffed it out underneath with a little bit of a burgundy eyeshadow. The reason why I picked burgundy is because the reds will really bring out the greeny hazel tones into her eyes and make her look more supernatural. I would extend that burgundy up through the crease and also not highlight the inner corner here. If you want something dark and mysterious and edgy, slightly aversion, is that the word? Slightly disturb the way you would normally do makeup, which is to highlight the inner corner. No, make it dark, make it deep, make it grungy, make it punk. That way it gives a much more instant, different effect to almost everyone else you'll see on screen who's going to have like a little bit of highlight here and a little bit of thing here to open up the eyes. As you can see here, what I have done with her lip shape is I have darkened the outer edges, and that in itself will make the lips look a lot bigger without having to overline them. When it comes to making lips look bigger than they are, whose car alarm is that?
Beep beep bitch, you're gay.
Satanic rave. Satanic rave. How flashbacks go. When it comes to making lip shapes much bigger and more defined when you have like quite cute petite lips, do not overline out here. It will make everything far too rounded, and despite what Instagram may have you believe, lips are not rounded. Like, naturally large lips are not fully just a sausage on top and a sausage beneath. That was a bit much, wasn't it? The way to do it is to purposefully not define the Cupid's bow. So you fill in the Cupid's bow that little bit more, so you have a bit more colour based in the centre. That way, when you fill the lines in that fit the vermilion curve, you have more colour in the centre, leading to that really bulbous middle lip. And you can replicate that underneath at the bottom. And the way that I've done that here is to just pick a really deep colour, really deep colour, like burgundy red. Oh yes, just to match with the eyes. Now, I read on an article that the reason why Sabrina has really this really deep red burgundy lip colour is because the colour is actually by Christian Louboutin, and if I remember correctly, isn't it called like Vice or something? Oh yes, it's the velvet matte lip colour in Very Prive. Absolutely stunning choice. I just think it could have been executed much better. And I also believe just a couple of individual lashes, either at the outer end of the eye or in the centre of the eye to really accentuate that doe-eyed look, will have really just made the whole look pull more together for me to believe that she was much more satanic and evil and very up for mysterious dark witchcraft. Do you know what I mean? And overall, I think that teamed with the platinum ice white hair would have really given a much more sort of grunge style, believable, more appropriate aesthetic for the Queen of Hell. Especially when they were trying to show her to be a
Dark side, mysterious woman on the game.
Well, my lovelies, what do you think about this video? Something a little bit different. It's just that when I saw this, when I was watching Sabrina, I was just totally taken out of the fantasy by just how disturbing I thought that the makeup artist was and looked. Oh, I feel a bit bad saying that. I'm not disturbed at you, sweetie, whoever you are. I just wanted so much better. I just wanted better. Today's Instagram shout out goes to Odin Wren. Thank you so much for following me over on Instagram, you stunning woman on the go. Satan. And I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons. You can see yourselves on the screen right here, my lovelies. Thank you so much, you gorgeous people. And once again, a massive thank you to my top tier Patreons and channel members. Stephanie Niatupski, Morrigan E. Wolf, Erin Conkle, Magusta Lagoose, Steph Utek, Caitlin Wright, Megan Holly, Dana Broderick, and the Mouldy Apple. And with that, my lovelies, I am off to take some wonderful Instagram photos because I absolutely love my look today. Satan. See you in my next video.